David Stryzewski's with us, CEO at Sound Planning Group. Thank you for being here. I do want to talk about Apple and jobs and a lot of things, but did you have a thought on what's going on with steel and the unions and the, without getting too political, where does it all fit in when we think about some of these commodities?
When we look at where we are right now, we have to have steel. We have to have raw materials if we're going to innovate, if we're going to build, if we're going to transform into the cities that we need, ultimately to electrify everything. There are just a lot of different forces at work here. So obviously you got to figure out labor prices. That's obviously, we've seen a lot of inflation. It's very expensive to hire union employees as opposed to hiring somebody who's just brand new over the border and would be willing to work for almost anything. So there's challenges that we're going to have to figure out. Businesses are going to have to figure out how to cut costs, but ultimately these are the things that capitalism has the opportunity to kind of flush out over time.
And that's why you're watching the labor story, aren't you?
Yeah.
The labor force participation rate is holding on, but what is the jobs report? People say it was okay, right? It certainly wasn't reassuring or great or anything, but it didn't scream recession. What do you think?
Well, it depends on how deep you look into the details. So as somebody who's been looking into these details for a while, I see a hard landing coming. So I'm obviously an outlier right now as far as people out here talking, but that's okay. Because I don't think this time's any different. I think that we just need to have an appropriate view of history and understand how these things kind of work out. But to your point, that jobs number that just came out, well, a couple things to note. We had openings plummet by 500,000. So employers are not as generous, not looking to expand right now. They're contracting. We had 1.8 million layoffs just occur. I mean, if you talk to a recruiter right now, they're telling you that it's actually a lot more challenging to get many of the high-paying jobs that people are getting terminated from. But as we look at some of this stuff going forward here, a couple of places that we've seen challenges are in the revisions. Obviously we just saw a little over 80,000 in revisions in just July and June. So that's kind of surprising here. We had that big surprise of 818,000 revisions about 2 weeks ago, but that was from last year's numbers. So what are we getting? Inconsistent information. So this headlines come out, we rally to the point, and then ultimately, may or may not be actually as true as we were hoping for. I want to note this as well in the numbers, and that is if you look at government jobs that are being added, and you would consider that an educator or somebody who is working in healthcare are typically expenses to an employee. They're expenses to the economy. So those could be counted as government jobs. 63% right now of all hiring is government jobs in that case. Anytime we've gotten above 60 has been a recession. We are 3% above right now. That is a significant thing to consider. And I don't think that we are, paying as much attention right now. I think we might get real surprised on some things here soon.
Yeah, I want to hit a few of the things that you brought to me here on the notes, and so maybe we could do sort of a quick round. I mean, first of all, Apple is in your sights. We have the big event, the Glow Time event next week. I guess a lot of people will be getting the new iPhone 16, maybe not. What are your thoughts on Apple?
It cannot be understated how massive of an opportunity and an event that this is. Not only is iPhone the most successful consumer device ever, it's the most successful phone ever. And Apple is going from a time frame of being pre-AI to now being post-AI. They weren't even talking about AI until recently, and that's Apple's style. They tend to be just a little bit quiet about things, and then they come out and they innovate it, and they do it better than anybody else. So I really expect that this iPhone 16 is going to be the first of many AI phones to come. And I believe that what they're going to do is they're going to get more integration into our lives. Through this AI. What if it could write your email faster? It knows how you're going to respond normally because it's a speed reader. That's all it is. But what they're trying to do is to make your life more efficient. And I think that they're going to come out with some pretty amazing little tips and tricks and ways of doing things that is going to get a lot of people to turn over their devices. So this new chip that they've come out with, I would argue, is actually a NVIDIA fighter and is competition for it. And the reason for that is because it was made for an application. It was exactly made with the right power. This chip is incredibly powerful and is really going to set Apple apart and give it the ability to get a lot of growth. But with 2 billion unique customers right now, there is a massive upcycle here that I think that Apple is going to see. You know, they were the first to 3 trillion. My guess is they're going to be the first to 4 or even 5 trillion here if they get this just right. You know, again, across all devices, making things a lot more streamlined.
It's at 220 today. I mean, where do you see Apple going?
I think that they could add $1 trillion or $2 trillion here in the next year or two, depending on how innovative. Now, this is interesting, too. They're releasing a phone in September. It's usually December that they're doing that. And so I think they're just trying to hit the AI thing while it's as heavy and you know, the hype is there as much as possible. So.
Yeah, I want to hit silver. We're running out of time. As we were talking about commodities earlier, you see an opportunity in silver. Is that right?
I do. It's at a 40% discount right now to its all-time high. When you look at everything at its all-time high right now, silver is a massive, massive gift sitting under $30 right now. We are at deficits in creating silver. We're doing way more solar panels than before. That's the biggest consumer of solar. Mexico, the biggest producer of solar, is looking at not doing strip mining, which is kind of a weird thing that's being discussed right now. Supply is down, demand is high. Silver is going to go through the moon, and watch, gold will lead to new all-time highs. Silver is going to follow. It's going to finish the year stronger than gold. It's going to continue on stronger than gold. And you just watch miners here over the next 5 and 10 years. I believe that they will be one of the strongest sectors that we have in our entire economy.
Yeah, we just finished talking about some of the discount retailers. I know you found some of those attractive, names like Walmart and Dollar Tree. And the last thought, because we have to go, David, but I thought the last thought that I thought was very interesting was that you didn't think the Fed should cut too much. They won't cut too much because they want to keep those rates high. So people will be attracted to treasuries, right? And keep people attracted there. Thank you.
That's exactly right.
Stryzewski, Sound Planning Group. Thank you, David. Still.